morning and welcome to Kim Talks Real Estate. I'm your host, Kim Hayden. I am an award-winning 6- and 7-figure income real estate agent with over 2 decades of experience. My goal with this show is to spotlight industry experts in real estate buying, selling, planning, developing, investing, and management, plus all the new opportunities that are coming at us out there right now. So first of all, I want to say thank you for being patient. We had some technical difficulties, tech and toddlers, always going to lead you down the wrong path at times. So our guest today, super excited because trust me, this gal is worth waiting for. She is a radio show host and a financial Jedi master. Catherine Bell collapses timelines and adds commas to bank accounts. As a hedge fund owner, Catherine has taken a stand in a male-dominated industry and is a sentinel of the American dream. And with the purpose of leaving every person, property, and community better than she found them. I love that, leaving every person, property, and community better than she found them. She creates wealth for her team and investors. Catherine's values family above all. As a result of being adopted at the age of 16, Catherine's mission in life is to get 350,000 adoptable children in the U.S. foster care system adopted by loving families within her timeline. This is awesome. And just let me flip my screen over here. Let's get Catherine in. Hello, Catherine. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Kim. Thank you for having me here. This is exciting.
It was quite the journey. We might as well have been stuck in traffic.
But look, we're resilient, right?
There you go. So, Catherine, I'd like to just kick this off with you sharing, who are you?
So, yes, I'm a radio show host. I'm an investor, a woman, a mom, a widow, single mom of teenagers. I was adopted. I adopted. There's so many things we are as women. We are all these things. And I really believe that my purpose is here for a couple of things, is to, obviously, I love adding commas to bank accounts to my investors. That's what I do through real estate investing. And then really focusing on a nonprofit that I also founded, which is getting all the adoptable children in the U.S. foster care system adopted. And so that's a whole other thing. So again, we're women. I do lots of different things. And that's what I love about, being in this day and age and all the things that we actually get to do as women. There's just so much. And so I love what you're doing around this resilience series, because let's face it, anything worth creating or having in the world requires us to be resilient. Right. And
Absolutely.
So anytime that we have big goals or big dreams or whatever that is, and we go out there, the reality is we're going to fail. Right. And it's not about the failure. It's about how fast we bounce back, get up, and find a way to do it better, to do it faster, and to continue to make it happen for us, for our families, our kids, the world, whatever it is. That's what we are as women. We build communities. We build empires. So I love what you're doing.
And I really align with you talking about community, because everything I do, even for I coach, I work with brand new agents because we know what their statistics are of surviving. We got 13% of them will actually make it past the 3-year mark. The majority will sit at the 50,000 mark income. So that's not fun to work 7 days a week for $50,000. But everything I do is centered around community. And I have generated over $500 million in real estate sales without a single dollar going to Zillow. I want an award for that, right?
Seriously. I mean, that takes something. I assert on many levels. You had some big goals and you failed multiple times, and you just kept getting back up, and here you are.
There
how
you
extraordinary is that? Listen to you. This is brilliant.
Yeah, so I want to dive into what you do because you have a really unique, I think, a unique business model there at Titan Impact Group. First of all, again, everybody needs to know that's right on their website to leave every person, property, and community better than we found them. That is just such that speaks to me. But what do you do?
What do we do? So let me just go back really quick. So I started being a real estate investor over 20 years ago. And I went through and, did the buy and hold and discovered I don't like tenants and toilets and ended up doing about 500 fix and flips, which again, when the numbers work, because all real estate investing markets are cyclical. So when it works to do flips, it was fun because I love the befores and afters. And we actually had a little TV show called The Flipping Females, which is a whole lot of fun. We'd walk women through the whole fix and flip process. And then I started my hedge fund and we did vacation rentals. Turns out I don't like guests and toilets either. So when I started being a real estate investor, my very first real estate investing mentor, he actually said to me something so profound. He said, listen, in any real estate investing transaction, you can play multiple parts. You can be the buyer, the seller, the realtor, the title company, contractor, subcontractor. I mean, it goes on and on. All the different roles you can play, right? And so then he said, out of all those positions, which position is the most secure, right? And the answer is the bank. The bank is the most secure in any real estate investing transaction. So, of course, my curious brain said, well, how do you be the bank? And so I went on my journey of learning how to and become the bank. So Titan Impact Group is the bank. So we hold the mortgages that, on their homes, right? So what we do is, and we work with our investors. So here's what people don't understand about the banking industry and everything that's happening. So what happens is banks are in the lending business, okay? They're not in the real estate business.
Correct.
So what happens is, couple of things. One, banks are only allowed to lend out a certain percentage of the deposits that they have in the bank. So in order for them to lend out more money, they have to actually sell they're called notes, those mortgages off, so that it frees up their balance sheet so they can keep lending out more. Right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is if for whatever reason, especially through COVID, right? A lot of people got hit so hard that they weren't able to continue paying their mortgage for whatever reason, right? Well, banks, because they're not in the real estate business, they're in the lending business, they don't have the systems and structures and team and capabilities set up to go back and rework with these families to get them back on track, right? They're just not set up for that. Well, our company is. So we partner with the banks and we buy those mortgages called non-performing notes, right? Mortgages from the bank. So the bank's happy because now it's off their books and they don't have to deal with that. We then buy those and then we match it up with, it's one investor per note. So now our investors get to be involved in this and their money is fully backed by that mortgage. Again, safest, most secure position in a real estate transaction. Our team goes to work and we work with these families and figure out what happened, get them back on track. And where our goal is to keep them in their homes. Because if we can keep families in their homes, we keep the parents in their jobs, we keep the kids in the schools, we keep the communities intact, like everything stays intact. Because one of the worst things you can do is have empty houses because then vandalism, communities start falling apart, neighborhoods, all of that. So if we can help keep that all intact, that's how we're leaving every person, property, and community better than we found them. So it ends up being a win-win-win all the way through the entire process. And that's how we help all of our investors and communities and everybody that we're up there is this is how you get to be the bank, how you get to invest and participate in being in the most secure position in any real estate investing transaction.
Okay, walk me through this, because we know that statistically women are still lagging financially in home ownership or in equity building or legacy anything, right? And yet we're 80% of the consumerism in the United States, and we run the majority of single parent households. So there's a lot of layers going in. We're also, just so you know, last year, folks, and this is my, I'm gonna bang the drum here, less than 3% of small business startup loans through traditional banking were given to women. And if you're a woman of color or visible minority, you had less than a 1% chance of getting that money. So that means 97% of the money is going to male. And I don't understand still why people think male-driven investments are safer than female. Maybe we're just not as good at paperwork or schmoozing.
Well, and I think in my observation of being in this industry for so long is that there just are it's a male dominated industry. There aren't as many women.
Yeah.
Or if there are, they're just not as visible.
And we're starting to see really cool alternatives coming out. I know that Sarah Blakely from Spanx has an entire VC arm now. I know that Hello Alice out of Texas is an entire VC arm now. So is lots of options. But let's veer this back, because I view real estate as a business opportunity, and I believe that real estate is an industry no different than building a like Sarah Blakely, something that God loves Spanx. God loves Sarah. There's a special place in heaven for Sarah. Let me tell you,
that woman.
So when we look at this, I want to break down, and we're going to take this down to a 7th grade level. Okay, let's talk. So you're talking banking and acquisition of notes and working with people to keep them in their space. The acquisition of notes then goes into Titan Impact Group, and Titan Impact Group then has a projected wealth portfolio. So walk me through this. Where does somebody, let's say, because I know we have all these different terms out there. We have REITs, we have everything. Where does a woman who maybe isn't in the position of purchasing a property herself, is there an opportunity where she can still build wealth through real estate investment?
Yes. And so a couple of things is, here's the thing we need to get clear about is that I have studied so many millionaires. A lot of my friends are millionaires. A couple of my friends are billionaires. And I ask them the tough questions. And so, because I'm always looking for success leaves clues. So if I can find a common thread between all of them and then repeat that over and over, I mean, logic says I should probably somehow get similar results, right? And so a couple of things that I've learned over all these decades is that every single millionaire and billionaire has some part of real estate in their portfolio. Just a part of it. Right? Doesn't have to be the whole thing, but it is a part of it. So that's the first thing. Second thing is when we understand the average millionaire has 7 streams of passive income, right? And there's lots of ways to create passive income. And here's the deal. I grew up in foster care, through lots of different homes and stuff, and didn't get adopted till I was 16. I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth, but I was able to learn this. And if I can learn this, anybody can learn this. So one of the fastest ways to start changing our brains is for reading and playing. And so one of the games that I love to play is Cash Flow. It's the Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
That game will teach you how to start seeing passive streams of income, right? So for me, I love real estate. Now, here's the power of having passive streams of income is that I created this, with my husband. We were married for almost 20 years. And then he died unexpectedly. But because through that 20 years, I had been building up these different streams of passive income through real estate, when he died, he didn't have life insurance because of a bunch of medical conditions he had. But thank God, I had developed so many streams of income that my kiddos and I were able to literally take a year and just grieve. Wow. And it was horrible and it was dark, and I would not recommend that path for anybody. But I thank God that I had the passive streams of income so that we could get through the darkest hour of our lives. And so that is one of the benefits. I don't want to talk about the dark stuff, but it was the reality of my life of thank
Yep.
God I got myself educated enough to be able to understand the power of passive streams of income. So I wrote a book. The
Awesome.
book is called Using Your Self-Directed IRA to Buy Real Estate. You can get it on my website. And so in that book, I literally walk people through how our team can help them set up a self-directed IRA. So it's a self-directed IRA is like a 401k, but it is now fully controlled by you. You as the investor, and they now can use that for tax benefits, tax advantages. It's way simpler than what they realize, and I break it all down in my book. And then they use that to turn around and build passive streams of income. So what we're seeing right now is a lot of people are transitioning in and out of different jobs for various reasons. Well, if you have a 401k in a job that you're no longer with, you can pull that over into a self-directed IRA with no consequences, no financial consequences, and now you are 100% in control of your retirement fund. So you take that and you turn around and you put it into notes or different types of real estate investing, and that starts giving you passive streams of income. So now you are now setting yourself up to start building those 7 streams of income to take care of you, your future, your family. And it's not as hard as they think. And I think that's the other piece that's frustrating for me is, Wall Street and these retirement banking, they want to use these big, complicated words. They're not it's not that complicated. Seriously, here's it is. You worked for your money and you put it into an account and you think that somebody else cares more about your money than you do. You're dead wrong. Like turning your money over to somebody to have them manage your account. Here's what we're watching. We're watching like these hedge funds that are out there, and they are literally buying up different investments on Wall Street with people's 401k money, losing 25% straight out of the gate. Because people need to understand these companies that are managing their retirement funds are bonused based on the number of transactions that they do, not the profitability. So let me say that again. They get bonused on the number of transactions, whether they lose or make money for you. They don't get bonused on the profitability. Are you kidding me? And somehow that's legal to me. That you can tell this.
There's quite a few things that have happened over the last 10 years that are just
it's
horrendous.
Ridiculous.
Well,
so here's the thing: people need to stop doing that. Take your money, get responsible, put it into a self-directed IRA. And there's so many different ways that now you are fully in control of being able to do this. And it's not as hard as you think. Seriously. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I totally agree. Well, there's quite a few things that have been going on since the crash of 2008 where we have government money feeding corporations, which are, during the pandemic, the amount of money that went to these major corporations, these major funds,
right?
Like Zillow was buying up properties and doing stuff like, all these, all these companies are buying it using, government money.
Yep.
And so it's not even in the same playing spectrum. So when we look at the average person, the average person would just love to own their own home. Interest rates. Let's talk real quick interest rates, because a lot of people are running scared right now. And I understand inflation is scary. It is scary. However, the big difference, they keep saying we're at the highest rate since 1981, but the big difference is in October of 81, our interest rates across North America were rating between 18 and 21%. Right. So huge difference on that monthly. So the reality is, if we're looking at inflation with our current mortgage rates, the reality is you still the average person only needs to find an additional $500 a month. Whereas if the mortgage rates were at the same rate that they were back in the 80s, you would be having to look for $2,500 a month. So let's talk interest rates. Where do you think, I'm not asking for a crystal ball, but where do you think is a fair place? Because we've been riding at these all-time lows that honestly do not benefit a larger economy, right? They're for a single economy, not for a larger economy. And we
Right.
saw this in Japan, right? In Japan, their entire market went stagnant. They had multiple layers, right? They had no immigration, which caused no growth. They had these historic low interest rates. Everybody was racing to the bottom, and it stalled out their entire housing market and economy. I mean, so where do you think is a fair rate? So, because a lot of people right now are going, 4%. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Right.
And, based on the numbers, the real numbers for an average home owner and understanding economics.
So I can't give you the answer on the rate, but here's what I can tell you based on economics is that everything is cyclical. All real estate, all economies, they're all cyclical. So even if you do buy a house right now at whatever the interest rate is, just know eventually the interest rates are going to come back down and you can refi then.
Yeah.
Right? There is a way for you to be able to get in and plan for the future to be able to save money and build equity inside of whatever that real estate is. Because what do we know for sure? We know for sure that real estate equity over time always goes up, right?
Proven.
We know right now interest rates always go up, they always go down.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So the
Yep.
worst thing you can do is wait. Right? Wait for the right time. It's like waiting for the right time to have a baby or waiting for the right time to get married. You're like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's never going to be right.
So when's the best time to plant a tree? Today.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right? And it's exactly that. So stop waiting and just get into action and know that there's multiple ways that you can turn it around and have it become better and better for yourself.
Yeah. And my first mortgage was at 6.85 and we thought we got a screaming deal.
Right.
And it's all relative. It's all relative, right?
Yes.
We're all sitting here going, oh my God, I bought my bacon and it was $4 more. It's all relative, right?
Yes.
It's like, so 3 things that you would advise if you were given. So I want to create a avatar for you. She is between the ages of 38 and 45. She is part of the Great Resignation that we're seeing. So she's coming out of corporate America. She's launching her own business. She's, either single or got her no ex or, ditched or is single. And she really wants to have some sort of equity hold within real estate anywhere in the United States or whatever. What are the top 3 things? What are the 3 pieces of advice if this person came across your desk?
Get yourself educated inside of real estate. Like figure out what it is, just like what I did. I went down the journey and played all the different roles and figured out what I liked, what I didn't like. Kind of like dating. The whole purpose of dating is to figure out what you don't want in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So you can do that with real estate or any career. Figure out what works, what doesn't work, and keep moving on. But learn. And you're eventually going to figure out literally, which leads me to like my quote. I always say, listen, if it's your genius, it's your job, right? So when we get really clear what our genius is in the world, it makes so much sense. And his life is so much easier when we just choose to live inside of our genius and our brilliance, right? And that is when it comes to investing, when it comes to parenting, when it comes to whatever that is. Another piece of advice is inside of the learning is so after my husband passed away unexpectedly, I got really clear. My kids are teenagers. My twins are teenagers, that they were going to move out of the house soon. And so school wasn't teaching them financial literacy. They were getting financial literacy from nowhere. So it was up to me. And so I started a financial family mastermind at my kitchen table that it was mandatory that my teenagers showed up to, which they were not happy about. But I started financial literacy. So every second Friday, and I've got a whole course that teaches people how to do this, and teaching them all the way through. So every second Friday, they had to show up. They had to have their homework done. They had to, we set up investment accounts, bank accounts, all of that. We get it all done. And what was extraordinary is I'm now engaged. My fiance's family ended up finding out about what I was doing, and they all invited themselves to my kitchen table because they wanted apparently their butts to be kicked. So we went through this whole process, and we got the book and everything, go through the whole thing. And at the end of the first year, here's what's really cool. So this is the piece of advice: every little bit counts, every little step counts. After 1 year, the entire family collectively that had come to my kitchen table had earned more than $100,000 collectively. They had eliminated over $70,000 collectively, and they invested over $50,000 collectively as a family in the first year. There was over 40 people at our completion event. So
wow.
Here's the deal. Like, ladies, financial literacy, it is not as hard as you think. Again, we build communities, we build families. Like, there is a way for you to start shifting that culture that is in your family, in your business, in whatever it is. And, having it actually happen for ourselves and those around us. So again, all ships rise together, right? So if it's going to be, it's up to me. So what are you doing to have all the ships around you, including yourself, rise together? So, does it take some work? Yeah. But seriously, it makes my heart sing inside of how many people in our family and our community are winning from being held accountable to set up their bank accounts, set up their saving accounts, set up their investment accounts, like get responsible, no kidding, like life actually depended on it, and create a life that you actually love. Like, why not?
Why not? And the thing is, why not me? We all walk around and go, why me? Why me? It's easy for the human brain to go to the negative. That we're designed that way. We're wired that way.
Yep.
And it is an active participant within your brain and your drive. You have to be an active participant within it in order to be in positive. And when you're in the positive, you see opportunity, you see solutions. You're not seeing problems. You're seeing opportunities. You're not seeing, an issue, or the negative. You're seeing, oh wow, okay. Just like today, for example, I had an issue with the technology, and what I determined was I had the wrong setting in Calendly, and that setting did not link back to an intake form. I had all the systems in place. We had literally one toggle. So either A, you throw the baby out with the bathwater, or you sit here and go, okay, where is the break? And let's create, there's always a way to do it right. There's always a way to fix it. There's always a solution. And it's whether or not too many people turtle, hide, run away, ignore, and that only creates a larger challenge. So,
that leads me to my third piece of advice you asked for.
Yes.
Here's the third piece of advice. Ladies, respect yourself enough to believe that you're the one here to make the difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's a reason why for years, hundreds of years, the hand that rocks the cradle. And we are now moving from the industrial age to the age of knowledge. And this is such an equal opportunity. This is like the playing field is getting leveled. And do you want to be in the front line or in the back? Right? So there's huge. Ladies. Absolutely. Okay, so let's go into this. I want to know why you're doing this. Like, we've got a pre-frame from your childhood. Mm-hmm. We've got your journey, but why go to the effort to do the courses and to do things for others? Wouldn't it be easier just for you to make your own money?
So, growing up, going through multiple homes through my childhood, I went to 13 different schools. I couldn't read until the 8th grade.
Wow.
Yeah. So
were you dyslexic?
When you go to 13 different schools, you just
don't.
You just push. And so it wasn't until then that they figured it out. And so growing up, I mean, my birth mother was 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
14 when she got pregnant with me. The sperm donor, well, who knows? So it's so many disadvantages, right? And there were also an extraordinary amount of adults and families that I did have the opportunity to be taken care of by. And I got to experience and see different families and different lifestyles of what worked, what didn't work. And I am clear I am the woman I am today because of my adopted parents, right? Like they selflessly gave themselves and gave to me and my brothers in such an extraordinary way that I really believe I am the woman I am today. So by having that and having like now the love that they poured into me available now, again, I respect myself enough to believe that I'm the one, right? And for me, as a woman raising kids, and again, I didn't plan on being a widow so young, but thank God I had enough fortitude, inside of me to say, you know what, you need to get yourself educated. You need to make a plan and you need to start following that plan to move forward. And thank God I did, because I could only imagine where I would be if, I had not. So for me, it's like, there's no excuse. There is zero excuse in this day and age for anybody to not create lives that they love. Seriously, like what is preventing you? And resilience, interesting. It's not resources that keep people down. It's resourcefulness. And
Bingo.
it's resilience that keeps us moving forward. So if you're struggling, if you're feeling like, well, I'm disadvantaged, I'm this and that, really? Because you can be resourceful if you choose to. Be resourceful and you be resilient, honey, you have everything you need to create an extraordinary life that you love. Like there is no reason for you to continue living a life that you don't love.
It's kind of like when you go to Google, you need something, but you don't know the right combination of words to put in. So you can never find the solution or answer that you're looking for. And so you have to have that right combination within yourself to be resourceful and find these solutions and answers. And they are out there. I mean, if Edison had quit the first 89 times he blew up something, we would still be we would be in the dark, right? Well, somebody else would have invented, but you get that. Like Disney, happiest place on earth, went bankrupt and had his first animations used. By the way, Disney's like such a cool story. Talking about marketing genius, he's the very first person in the United States to actually utilize animation within marketing. And by the way, when he went bankrupt in Kansas City, all of that went. He did not own any of his original work, and he almost lost Mickey. And imagine the happiest places on earth. Disneyland, Disney World. I mean, we wouldn't have these if he would have quit, right? So, and we look at like women like Harriet Tubman, we look at all these and these, they don't quit. They don't quit. They have been,
you got to figure out what didn't work. And here's the other piece that I find is that people, when they have a failure, they don't separate themselves out from the experience to labeling themselves. Generally what people do is they fail and they go, oh, I must be a failure. No, you're not a failure. Good Lord, stop labeling yourself as that. You had an experience that, yes, it may have occurred as a failure, but if you choose to learn something from it and not get responsible and stop labeling yourself these negative things and just own your brilliance, your queenness is,
absolutely.
Own that and learn from it and do better the next time and get up, dust yourself off and keep going, right? So stop labeling yourself as a failure because you're not. You simply learned something. So learn it like Edison or Ford or any of these people and move forward. And here's the other piece. I love Henry Ford. It's like,
yes,
He was clear he did not have to be the smartest person in the room. He just needed to have the smartest people around him. And let's be clear, I am not the smartest person in the room, but I have brilliant people all around me. Right?
I actually prefer not to be the smartest person in the room
Yes,
because
me too.
I don't want to be the leader all the time. I want to help lead those who need who are behind me coming up, but I'm always looking forward, and those that is, where I spend my engagement is
Yep.
looking forward and going, what can I learn? In business, my principle has always been, and you do 1,800 real estate transactions. There's a lot of learning.
Right?
No two
And
are
a
ever the
lot of
same.
team members.
Yeah. And the reality is you're either learning or earning. But if you're failing, you're going to continue to fail. So failing doesn't leave room for earning. You're
Right.
either learning or earning. And I love that. Going back to Edison, he looked at it as, he called it feedback, not failure.
Yes.
So, and Ford, you mentioned Ford, and that goes into your cash flow, the cash flow quadrants and everything. Ford actually, I'm pretty sure it was Ford that said he'd rather have the efforts of 100 people than 100% of his own efforts, meaning that learning how to make things work that are a bit here, and this goes into your 7 streams and such. It's learning how to do that versus always be the driver. And especially as an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur minded person, like I am, it's really hard to delegate. It's really hard to separate. It's really hard to step back and say, okay, you are the genius within this solution, and I need to listen. And that has been the biggest challenge I personally have faced. And I know a lot of people face that because you get stuck in a silo of what the solution is, and you're not looking to others to help you. Maybe there's a simpler solution. Maybe there's an easier way to do it, So, the next part of this is, and I think we actually have heard so much of your story. I'm pretty sure I know where this is going to go, but I always like to get a very clear and concise on resiliency from each of our guests. So, would you share with us a time in your life that without resiliency, we would not be having this conversation right now?
I have so many. I think the biggest one, the most painful one was definitely, not only, I mean, I've had so many businesses that I started and failed and whatever, and just keep getting up and learning and going. But it was my husband dying unexpectedly. That was like, and raising my twins on my own, twin teenagers. Let's face it, teenagers are prickly. So,
on the best of days,
prickly hormonal teenagers, and having to figure it all out and now provide for them, make sure I've, checked all those mom check boxes before they go into the world. Like, it was just like, you know what, girl, you've got to pick yourself up, put on your big girl panties, dry your face off, and let's go. And I thank God every day that I had so many wonderful women around me, that these women really held my dreams for the future when I really couldn't. There's something really profound in having extraordinary women be there for us and with us and hold our hearts when our hearts are literally shattered. To be able to encourage and remind us who we are, like who we really are, and what our dreams really are, and to keep us moving forward. It's that whole like Canadian geese in the formation, when they're like honking, the whole purpose of the honking is to encourage that very front goose to keep going, right? So when we are that for each other, when we're encouraging and inspiring and uplifting and loving on each other, like that is everything. So having extraordinary women around me up to extraordinary things that I can be completely transparent and vulnerable with, that has been a huge part of my journey. And what got me through, literally the darkest year of my life. Yeah.
You're the type of gal I think that would be probably one of the best kind of women to go on like a weekend retreat for a full kind of mindset reset type of thing. I'm loving this conversation, and I could do a conversation, I'm guessing, for 2 or 3 hours with you easily.
We could. We've got
Easily.
so
We
much to
could.
talk about. What you're
Well,
up
and
to.
we have so much in alignment also.
Mhm.
I definitely would encourage every person out there who listens to this podcast to go to titanimpactgroup.com. Go and find Catherine and align yourself, because the energy of just sitting in the studio here, even though it's through technology, a screen, is it the authenticity that just vibrates off of you, Catherine. You're really in this for a purpose of service. And I do love that. I do love that. Books, you did mention your book.
Yes.
So share again with us that book, and then give us your another book that you would encourage everybody to read.
So, my book is again, I'm a nerd at heart, so it's all the how-tos. So using your self-directed IRA to buy real estate, diversifying your portfolio. So it's on my website, titanimpactgroup.com. But here's a book I give to everybody. I tell them to read. It's, again, Success Leaves Clues. Every millionaire and billionaire I know has read this book and studied it. It's called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. And the homework, should everybody take it on, the homework is to read through the book once. And I got this from my mentor, who's extraordinary. And then you read chapters 4, 7, 11, and 14 every single day for 90 days. If you miss a day, you start all over. I promise you, you do that. It takes like 20 minutes to read those chapters. It's a really teeny tiny book. You do that, your neuron pathways are absolutely going to be changed forever. And you are going to start seeing opportunities all around you like never before. Because the longest journey we will ever take, ladies, is right here. It's between your ears. You can change that. You literally change your world and the world around you. So start thinking differently and hang out with millionaires and billionaires. We're like the 5 people we hang out with the most. Well, what you watch, who you listen to, what you read, those are the people you're hanging out with as well. So guard that and hang out with really cool people like Wallace D. Wattles.
I love, you just wanted to say the name again.
I mean, what a fun name, right?
Yeah, what a fun name. Oh, that is hilarious. Can you imagine going through school? That
right?
is just, yeah. Well, I know a real estate agent. His last name is COX, like Cox. Cox is but his father's name is Harry. So, needless to say, every time his dad
and
called the
kids are
office,
mean.
I know.
Yes.
So yeah. So it's names are fun. Names are fun.
Right.
I just Mine is actually Kim Hayden is actually a very attractive Irish folk singer, and she's already got my website address. So I tried. That's how I know there's an Irish folk singer doing the club circuit in Ireland by the name of Kim Hayden. So
I love it. And Catherine Bell is an actress. She's on Jag and a whole bunch of other ones. So people call me, or when I'm on like customer service, where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, are you the Catherine Bell?" I'm like, "For sure I
am." Well, nobody wants me to sing for them, trust me, unless it's like a 2-year-old. I know all the toddler getting songs. Okay, so first of all, tell us, Catherine, where everybody can find you, social media, all of that.
Yep. So, of course, my website, I'm on LinkedIn, Catherine Bell, Facebook, Catherine Bell, what is it called? Instagram, Catherine Bell, TIG, which is TIG, Titan Impact Group, TikTok, Catherine Bell TIG. So we're everywhere. It's YouTube.
You can't get away from
you can, and we have our own radio show called The American Dream Impactor. So again, talking about this and giving the skills and tips and tools of people creating their version of the American dream, because that's what we need to do as women. We need to create and live our version of the American dream, not our parents, not our spouses, not anybody else.
It's not Kim Kardashian's, not any of those. This is the reality.
Yes.
Start speaking your dreams and goals, because your dreams and goals are rich enough to share. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to say this right here and right now. There's a lot of people being impacted by the local economy coming out of a 2-year recession, and we're looking at our lives and stuff. And that's why, on Kim Talks Real Estate, we know that real estate is a cornerstone. We've seen people who have invested, even if it's just a piece of dirt land in the middle of Kansas. The reality is, buy land, they're not building it anymore. So the purpose of this is that I want everybody to know that your dreams are of value. If your
Yes.
dream is just having an extra $500 or $1,000 a month so you can put your child in swim therapy classes, that is an awesome, valid dream. If your dream is to buy a $150,000 new car and paint it pink, that's totally cool too. But just know that if you don't speak your dreams, they will never come to reality. If you don't share those dreams, you don't put those on your vision boards, and you don't put the work into it. Because dreams without work and without a plan are never going to happen. You put the work and plan, you can achieve everything and anything. Would you agree, Catherine?
Absolutely. Ladies, dreaming isn't enough. If you don't get it in your calendar with action steps, it's just a hope and a wish. So stop doing that. Get it in your calendar and take teeny tiny steps every single day, because those teeny tiny steps end up in ginormous leaps over time.
And what's a quote that you would recite in your head on the hard days, Catherine?
That God and the universe are conspiring to have all of my heart's deepest desires come true. It's from The Richest Man in Babylon. Read that book too.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us today here at Kim Talks Real Estate, where we're wanting to put resiliency in your financial legacy by sharing incredible insight from everything from the investment side to the actual sales side. So again, thank you for joining me, and until next time.